So our company is called ChillCalls, and I'm going to hand it over to Casey Schnell, who's going to give you guys a brief overview of what we're all about.
Hi. So just to give you an overview, our company, ChillCall, is helping your company sell your product through an innovative, efficient form of cold calling, saving you both time and money. Your sales associates and employees making cold calls should not be wasting time dialing numbers and listening to the phone ring. That is minutes and which turns into hours, which turns into days. And that is just your company losing money. ChillCall is automating this process. We are allowing your company to save time and have the ability to make more calls in less time. And as you know, time is money. So we're only helping you save money or make more of it. Um, According to the Rain Group, it's time for a change. About 50% of company owners said they would rather hear from sales reps on the phone compared to via email or another form of messaging. So this shows us that calling, at least for a large group of people, is here to stay. However, also according to the Rain Group, 58% of prospects currently say that they find cold calls useless. I know, a little contradicting, but what they're saying is that there needs to be a change. There needs to be some sort of innovation with cold calling because that's something that hasn't happened yet. It's not a form of marketing that's going to disappear, but it's something that we have the ability to innovate, and there's potential. Um, in addition, it takes about 18 cold calls to get one successful call, meaning that's 17 calls, unsuccessful calls, that your operators are listening, waiting for dialing phone numbers and waiting for the ring and waiting for the answer. And that can be at least 20 to 30 minutes. So this is where we come in. So just some steps to explain how our business works. First, you'd sign up for our efficient cold calling platform by reaching out to us, and our contact info is on the website, which I linked. Second, you'd give us your list of potential customers or clients that you want us to call for you. And third, our platform will simply dial those numbers for you, and you will put us in touch with your operators, and we will only transfer the calls that are answered. So immediately when the calls are answered, they'll be transferred over to your operators within 0.1 seconds, and we will end up using, and then that way you won't waste any time dialing phone numbers or waiting and making unanswered calls. So I'm going to pass it on to Stephen. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that, Casey. Now we'll move on to our results section. We conducted 4 interviews with members of 4 different companies, as shown in the table below. The first interview that we conducted was with GrayRing, and they are a startup that helps to share data amongst both medical institutions and research organizations, while also keeping medical information anonymous. From the COO, we learned that it would have been helpful for them to have our chill call service during their customer discovery process, but they felt that they have no current need for it now that they already have an established network. Our next interview was with Siam Cement Group, which is one of the largest and oldest building and cement companies in Thailand. We spoke to their maintenance department manager, and one of the statements that he made was that our service is a good idea, but the company is currently satisfied with having their sales engineers make contact with customers. And we do think that this is something that we can change down the road if we were able to establish our product and maybe make a sales pitch that was extremely convincing. We also conducted an interview with a sales intern at Fiat Chrysler, and they thought that our idea would be extremely helpful to them during this current time due to the fact that they are automating many of their sales tactics due to COVID. In addition, we spoke to someone in corporate ticket sales for the Detroit Tigers, and they felt that our service would save their sales representatives substantial time opening sales and continuing conversations after they were able to open sales and garner interest from corporations. As for our market size, our research shows that there are 4.5 million B2B sales reps in the United States, and that each one of those makes an average of 11,745 cold calls per year. Given that we charge a minimum of 60 cents per cold call, we have estimated that we have a potential revenue of 4.5 million sales reps times 11,745 cold calls per year per sales rep times our 60 cents minimum per cold call. And that gives us a potential revenue estimate of $31 billion and $31,711,150,000.
For the key takeaway, there are three main things that we learned from this assignment. First, business insight. We learned how to identify the problem through data analysis. By brainstorming the ideas and assessing pain and gain point from the customer in the problem identification process, we can come up with a products or solution that can really solve the problem and be able to sell it to the market. We also learn how to interview customers to get their insight and thought about their business ideas and problem. This process allows us to know customer pain point and evaluate the potentials of our solution before actually approaching to customer. Then we design and develop both product idea and marketing website in order to see customer feedback on our solution. We practice the art of pitching through these assignments so that we can have an experience before going to pitch the solution to the real customer or to the VC for fundings. Second, group dynamics. We learn a lot of project management skill by working together as a team. For example, we list a lot of work breakdown structures for each tag and set the due dates of the works to manage the projects. This will prepare us to work in a real environment, not only in the startup group, but also in every company. For the team communication and collaboration, we try to make a clear communication through an organized meeting so that we can see the same pictures when working together. We also learned that leading team competency and choosing the right partners or co-founder is very important, since the diversity of team competency will drive the business forward. Third, improvement. We think that we can do this assignment better if we spend more time researching the data in the problem identification process. There's no denying that the process is very important one, because this is the big step that we decide what you're gonna do to solve the problem happening in the world. In addition, we believe that we should start from a real small project to gain more experience from what we learned today.
All right, so moving on to the final analysis, we broke it down into a list of pros and cons. For the pros, first of all, instead of making automated cold calling where some message is pre-recorded, we would connect the recipient to a real person, which studies show is much more effective. Also, we would be able to connect the sales reps at a company to more callers than they would be able to without us, because they wouldn't be wasting time dialing numbers. There's also a lot of correlated problems that salespeople experience in general. According to this pie chart made by an in-depth PACE productivity study, they spend 35% of their time on administrative paperwork and 22% on selling. With that in mind, we can see that if we can find other ways to increase selling by improving the cold calling process and reducing the time spent in other areas, our product would be more attractive. Cold calling is still widely used, and as Stephen mentioned, there's a large market cap and we can take advantage. Moving on to the cons, success is difficult to sustain. One week we may have a lot of calls picked up, and another we may have next to none. And if we don't succeed in getting a company more successful cold calls, they have no reason to continue using our service. Cold calling lists are never solid. A Baylor University Keller Research Center found that the odds of reaching someone in a true cold calling situation are pretty slim. 55% will not answer, 17% of contacts information will be incorrect, only 28% will actually answer the call. Additionally, changes happen all the time. Nearly 20% of contact information is outdated. Zoom info says 30% of people's jobs change. 66% of people change their title or job function. 45% of people change work phone numbers, and 37% of people change their email address in 1 year. Cold calling is complicated. An average of 7 people are involved in the buying decision, and it takes at least 5 of them to agree for a sale to happen, making it difficult for a cold calling salesperson, or in this case us, to get a hold of the right people, according to Salesforce research. Do we think this idea is viable? Well, in conclusion, cold calling is certainly not a dead thing and can be incredibly effective for a company. However, we realize that there are a lot of other problems with cold calling other than taking the time to dial numbers and getting someone on the other side. We don't think our idea on its own is very viable. However, if we capitalize on one or a couple of the many other problems salespeople face and found innovative solutions to help ease these problems, we believe these solutions in concurrence with ours could definitely be a viable product. With that being said, here's a list of our sources. and thank you for watching.